time. Oh, 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 oh. There will be a time. Oh, 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 oh. There will be a time.
Hey guys, and welcome on into another episode of Getting Wild with Terry and Friends. I'm Terry, ready to break down this Saturday slate. To start off with, I know I've been gone for a while now, approximately around a week, I think. And this is not an easy business. Sports betting is not sports handicapping is not easy. It may look easy to some people, but it is not easy. And you will have good times and you will have bad times. But sometimes when you have the bad times and they just continue day after day after day, you just need time away. And that's exactly what I needed. I needed time away where I didn't think about hockey, didn't look at sports, just time away. And it helped. Back-to-back winning days so far since my break ended. So I'm hoping to keep that going here. And starting with today's show, we have 13 games to go over. So I will get started with that here shortly. Joined, says Jimmy Brimmer from X. I'm wondering if it's showing Twitter comments. That's kind of interesting. I've never seen that before. But maybe Twitter comments are showing up as well, which is interesting. But we'll get into the very first game of the day, which is between the Minnesota Wild and the Vancouver Canucks here in this one. Vancouver minus 110 to plus 101. Minnesota minus 110 to minus 115. Sixes and 6.5s available in this game. Of course, these two teams just faced each other not too long ago, I believe last Thursday, with Vancouver getting the 2-0 win, shutting out Minnesota. And Minnesota had a 6-game winning streak against the Canucks before that game. The Canucks getting the win there in that one. Both teams playing really well right now. Vancouver's won 4 games in a row, 29-1 on the season. However, only 8-6 on the road. Minnesota 6-2 in their last 8 games since the coaching change, with only losses against this Canucks team and the Edmonton Oilers during that stretch. As I said, Minnesota 6-1 in the last 7 meetings between the teams. And when I look at it in this game, I feel the early start, because obviously this game is at 2 p.m. Eastern. I feel like the early start is going to hurt the Canucks more than it's going to hurt the Wild. I think the Wild will be looking for revenge in this one, and I think they are the right side here. Wild money line minus 112, and I cashed on this the other day. And if you've been betting, Matthew Boldy to score, he has a goal in 6 of his last 7 games since the coaching change, since Dean Evason was fired. Sorry, 5 of his last 6 games. He's looked like a completely different player since the coaching change. Looking at the Canucks side of things, JT Miller has a point in 4 of his last 5 games, 20 of his last 24. Of course, that would have to be a parlay piece. And Brock Besser has a point in 9 straight games, and he's a goal in 3 of his last 5. So Brock Besser finding the back of the net. Obviously, I mentioned Matt Boldy. And Joel Eriksson has at least 3 shots on goal in 11 straight games. So Joel Eriksson continues to shoot the puck at the net and get shots. What's up, Terry? I smashed a like. Thank you, Richie. Thank you. But yeah, Boldy anytime goal, Wild money line here in this game. Moving on along to our second game here, which is between the New Jersey Devils and the Columbus Blue Jackets. New Jersey minus 210 to minus 220. Columbus plus 180 to plus 191. 6.5s and 7s available here in this game. And I was on the over on Friday between Thursday, I believe, between Toronto and Toronto and Columbus. Columbus had a 5-0 lead in that game. And of course, the Leafs stormed back to tie it 5-5 before Columbus won in overtime. So the over wasn't really much of a sweat at all. Now we're finding between these two teams. Of course, the Devils have been a higher scoring team throughout the season. So that's why we're getting the 7 here. But if you look at the Devils' last 4 games, 2-1 win against Boston, 4-1 loss against Edmonton, 4-2 loss against Calgary, 4-2 win against Calgary, and a 2-1 win against Seattle. So New Jersey is starting to trend more towards the under, having allowed 1 goal in 2 of their last four games and 2 goals in the other. So their goaltending is starting to play a bit better as well. Looking at the previous meeting between these two teams this year, the Blue Jackets won 2-1. So when looking at this game, there's no single plays for me. Obviously, to back the Devils, you'd have to go with them on the puck line for plus 110. You could take Columbus, but Columbus is off that big win against the Leafs, and the Devils have been winning games as of late. So for me here, really, Devils money line would be a good parlay piece. I do think they win this game. However, I don't want to have to take them by 2. So that's why there's no single place for me here. In this one, Jack Hughes has at least 4 shots on goal in 10 straight games. Jesper Bratt has a point in 6 straight games. Nico Hischier has a point in 7 of his last 9. And Zach Werenski for Columbus has an assist in 6 of his last 8 games. So he's really been producing for the Blue Jackets, but no single place here for me in this one. Addison joined from Twitter. This is new. I don't know what's going on, but I think when people are watching, it says joined. I'm not sure, but Jimmy Brimmer joined and Addison joined, so that's new. I don't know what's going on there, but what's up, Tara? How's it going, Owen? How's it going? Oh my God, we're back again. Yes, we're back, and hoping for a good night tonight. Canes need a goalie bad. Who do you think we should go after? Yeah, I was on the Predators last night, and that was a great comeback win for the Preds. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't know who is really available when it comes to goaltending. Um, I know that um, I'm totally blanking on his name now, but Connor Ingram continues to play well for Arizona. Does Arizona see themselves as a playoff team? Maybe they could potentially make a trade there, but I don't really know who has a goalie that's available that would really help Carolina. So I don't really know. But we'll move on along to our next game here, which is going to be a very interesting. It should be a very entertaining game as well, which is between the Pittsburgh Penguins and Toronto Maple Leafs. Pittsburgh plus 110 to plus 125. Toronto minus 129 to minus 142. 6.5s right across the board here in this game. And when it comes to Toronto, we've seen it over and over and over again lately. They go to overtime. Toronto has been cashing draws. Looking at it here, obviously their last game is 6-5 overtime loss to Columbus. No overtime the game before. They went to overtime against the Islanders. 2 previous games before that, no overtime, but then they had 3 games in a row where they went to overtime before that. 2, so really 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of their last 11 games have gone to overtime, which is absolutely insane. That they're just finding a way to go to overtime so much, cashing draws quite often. When you look at Pittsburgh, they've gone to overtime in their last game and 4 of their last 8. So Pittsburgh is also finding ways to go to overtime. So no big surprise here. I'm on the draw, plus 380. think we can get overtime in this game. Of course, this draw price at FanDuel. FanDuel has the best prices for draws that I've noticed, but I think we find a way to go to overtime in this one. Obviously, um, Pittsburgh heading to Toronto here. The whole GM situation, returning to Toronto, so that will be a factor as well. But I think we can get overtime here. Small play here in this one. Welcome back, Terry. Go North Stars. Yeah, yeah. Addison on Twitter says, "What's up, everyone? Hello, Sweet Lou. Did we cover Vancouver, Minnesota? I'll go back later." Yes, we did at the beginning. So yeah, it's showing it. That's a Twitter comment. So Mom Who Bets is on YouTube commenting. Can't bet on the Penguins. I think they can get to overtime. I think they can get to overtime. Happy you're back, Terry. Thank you, Jimmy. Glad to be back, and hoping that we can get on a good run here. But there'll be winning days, there'll be losing days. I'm just hoping for a little bit more consistency, not so many bad days in a row. But it will happen. Um, Looking at player props, who's hot and who's not in this one, no big surprise. Jake Gensel has a point in 17 of his last 19 games. Crosby has a point in 4 of his last 5. And Evgeny Malkin has a point in 6 of his last 8. I think those are all good parlay pieces. If you want to do same game parlay as well, Toronto games are going over. 6-5 loss to Columbus, 7-3 win against Toronto or against the Rangers, 4-3 overtime loss against the Islanders, 4-0 win against Nashville, 4-3 win against Ottawa. Toronto games are going over. So I think the big guns from Pittsburgh can find points in this one. And then for Toronto, Austin Matthews has a goal in 5 of his last 6 games. And in 4 of those 6 games, I believe he has multiple goals. So if you are looking at Matthews, anytime goal is like minus 130, which is absolutely ridiculous for an anytime goal. So you'd have to look at 2 or more, which I think is a potential, but I'm not sure what that price is at. Mitch Marner has a point in 6 of his last 7. William Nylander has a point in 7 straight, and John Tavares has a point in 6 straight games. So the big guns for Toronto, the big guns for Pittsburgh, that's who I'd look for player props. Of course, they'd all have to be parlay pieces here. I watch on YouTube because I can play the show and use other apps at the same time. Hey, nothing wrong with that. It's just normally we've only ever seen YouTube comments. So that's why I'm looking at the Twitter comments and glad to see that we're seeing, I guess I should call it X. We're seeing X comments on there. So that's interesting. Best thing about a Sabres moneyline cash isn't the money. It's a fact. Knowing your team cares. Thank you, Buffalo. Yes, the Sabres upset the Vegas Golden Knights yesterday. And we'll get to the Sabres game here shortly, but the last time the Sabres won multiple games in a row was November 1st. So the Sabres have been unable to string wins together. And of course, on a back-to-back against a team that's also on a back-to-back. So that game will be really interesting. And we will get there in a bit. But next up, we have a probably very good game to watch here, which is between I don't know what's going on there. Colorado and Winnipeg. I don't know what's going on here. It seems to have skipped a game. I'm sorry, guys. But Colorado minus 114 and minus 125. Winnipeg plus 100 to plus 106. Sixes right across the board here in this game. And this one's a really interesting one. Obviously, Winnipeg is playing pretty well right now. They are on a roll. They 5-1 in their last 6 games, 10-4 in their last 14 games. So the Jets are playing really well lately. Colorado 3-3-2 in their last 8 games. They've lost their last 3 road games, and these two teams just faced each other in Colorado. Winnipeg winning 4-2. Colorado will be looking for revenge in this one. The Jets are just playing great hockey right now. I know Kyle Connor is out for Winnipeg, which is the only really downside of looking at Winnipeg here in this one. But I've got to go with the hot team. I got them at plus 112. I think it's a great price. for the Winnipeg Jets. This could be another overtime game. So if you want to sprinkle on the draw on this one as well, this game is calling my name for the overtime as well. And I will probably be adding that after the show. I think we can get a draw on this one as well. Good to see you back in action, Terry. Did the Leafs really hate Dubas? Thanks, Slots. And I don't know. I don't really know how that's all going to work out. Um, I don't know. I don't know exactly, but I think obviously that's going to have a small factor in the game. Um, I do look at those revenge angles, and we'll have to see. But I've heard a lot of things from Leafs fan base, so we'll have to see. Since I'm a conspiracy theorist, I have to point out it's National Underdog Day. UK is an underdog versus UNC. It's anniversary of Connor Sanders' death, December 16th, 1980. Interesting. Interesting. I'm on a dog here on the Winnipeg Jets, so if it's dog day, hopefully this is one of them. Hellebuck confirmed for the Jets. And that reminds me that I've not been mentioning goalies. Oops. But we have a lot of unconfirmed goalies. So Gustafson obviously confirmed for the Wild. Nobody confirmed in New Jersey Columbus game. Hellebuck is confirmed for Winnipeg. 14, 6 and 1, 2.42 goals against average, 916 save percentage. And he's on a 4-game winning streak. I've just been playing really well lately. Nobody confirmed for Colorado, but it doesn't really matter. Winnipeg will have the goalie advantage no matter who starts. Martin Jones is likely to start for Toronto. The game we went over there. And I believe that's it. Yeah. We'll move on. I like Velarde anytime goal. Yeah, I haven't looked at how he's been doing lately. I'll be honest. When looking at player props, switch to the tube. Awesome. Um, hey, normally I've always been trying to get people to come over to YouTube. Obviously, hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. But mostly because you couldn't chat on Twitter before, but now you can. So that's interesting. We will move on along to the next game, which I somehow skipped for some reason, which is kind of interesting. But Detroit Red Wings, Philadelphia Flyers, and player props. Going back to the last one, Nathan McKinnon as a point, 13 straight games for Colorado. Scheifele and Nikolai Ehlers both playing well for Winnipeg in that one. Looking this one, Detroit plus 105 to plus 109. Philadelphia minus 120 to minus 130. Sixes right across the board here in this one. And when looking at this game, Detroit's been a team that's been good to me this year. So ups and downs this year. Detroit's been a team that's done well for me when I bet on them. But when you look at how they've been playing recently, 1-3-1 in their last 5, so they've won one of their last 5 games. They won't have Dylan Larkin playing for this game, which really hurts them. We've noticed that. And with Patrick Kane joining the Red Wings, you think that would bring some kind of energy and potentially push the Red Wings into a winning streak. Obviously, you don't expect everything from Kane right away, but him joining the lineup has not helped the Red Wings. It's actually hurt the Red Wings. Brinkcat hasn't been getting very many points. Obviously, losing Larkin as well really hurts. Then we have this Philadelphia team. And on the opposite side of Detroit, Philadelphia has been a team that's burned me. Whenever I bet against this team, they find a way to win. I haven't really bet on them too often. Philadelphia 5-0-1 in their last 6 games, 16-10-3 on the season. But I'm betting on them today. Obviously, they're playing really well right now. Detroit is not, but Philadelphia's owned Detroit. 12-3-2 in the last 17 meetings, 8-3 in the last 11 meetings between the teams. So Philadelphia's had Detroit's number, and maybe I've been sleeping on this Flyers team a bit because um, currently in a playoff spot when I last checked, and playing pretty good hockey. So for me, it's the Flyers here. Martin Jones is confirmed. Yeah, and that helps an over. That helps an over in that game. Wanted Flyers with no Larkin or no Comfort either. But Urson is confirmed. Carter Hart out with an illness. Awesome. Um, well, I guess not awesome, but good information. Yeah, it's Alex Lyon for Detroit, who's been playing really well this year. 4-2, 2.13 goals against average, 931 save percentage. Urson, 6-3-2, 2.8 goals against average, 885 save percentage. And he started the last two games. He's 5-0-1 in his last six games with a 917 save percentage. So Urson starting to look like the Urson we saw last year, which was a really good goalie. And then for some reason this year, he hasn't looked the same. But now he's starting to. So the goaltending here doesn't really bother me. Doesn't really bother me. Patrick Kane isn't, yeah, I'm not saying he's the problem, but he hasn't helped. He hasn't really helped them. Since he joined Detroit without two centers, Larkin Comfer, and without a scoring Perron as well as a PP threat, defending Kane because of the situation. Yeah, I shouldn't have. I didn't mean to say that. I didn't mean to push all the blame on Patrick Kane. But his entrance into the lineup hasn't brought what the Red Wings expected, but obviously with a lot of injuries and suspension in Perron's part, that hurts. That hurts the team. Player props for this game, nothing. I have nothing on either side. Philadelphia is a very tough team when it comes to player props. But we'll move on along to our next game here, which is between the New York Islanders and the Montreal Canadiens. New York minus 125 to minus 135. Montreal Canadiens plus 105 to plus 115. Sixes right across the board here in this game. Let me see if we have confirmed goaltenders. Samuel Montembeault is confirmed for Montreal. 6-4-2, 2.78 goals against average, 911 save percentage. Should be Varlamov for the Islanders with Sorokin playing last night. 6-3-1, 2.6 goals against average, 921 save percentage. So pretty similar numbers between both goaltenders, which is exactly what I want to see because I'm on the draw. Plus 360 in this one. The Islanders, like Toronto, has been a team that has found ways to go to overtime quite a bit recently. Obviously, going to a shootout against Boston yesterday. No overtime against Anaheim. They went to overtime against Toronto and LA. Nothing against Columbus. They went to overtime against San Jose. They went to overtime against Carolina. Overall, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of their last 10 games. The Islanders have gone to overtime. And when you look at it, they've been playing really well during that stretch as well. 6-0-2 in their last 8 games. So they're finding ways to not only go to overtime, but winning on the most part. Obviously, not yesterday, but that will happen against Boston. Looking at Montreal, they've gone to overtime in 2 of their last 3 games as well. So for me, it's the draw here. This is another one of my draw plays in this one. Looking at player props, nobody from Montreal that really stands out for me. Matt Barzal has a point in 7 of his last 8 games for the Islanders. Bo Horvat has a point in 9 straight games for the Islanders. And Barzal and Horvat are a huge reason on why the Islanders are winning these games during their recent stretch and not losing them. It's because Barzal and Horvat have been on fire. So same game parlay. I would look to parlay Horvat and Barzal. Welcome back, Terry. Thank you, Captain Brian. It's good to be back. But we'll move on along to our next game. And there's a few games coming up here where I don't have any single plays, but I will definitely go over parlay pieces and stuff. And in this one, New York Rangers against Boston Bruins, both these teams played last night. So we do have quite a few teams that are on back-to-backs here, which is definitely something to keep in mind. Nobody's been confirmed, but it should be Igor Shesterkin against Jeremy Swayman. Shesterkin 10-7, 3.02 goals against average, 901 save percentage. So not really Shesterkin numbers this year. Swayman 9-1-3, 2.07 goals against average, 932 save percentage. And this game here, I just don't have a good feeling for. And I want to bet the draw just because I can't possibly, I don't have an edge on either team. Boston's gone to overtime in back-to-back games, but the Rangers haven't really been going to overtime, not at all. 5-1 win in their last game, 7-3 loss against Toronto, 4-1 win against LA, 4-0 loss against Washington, 6-2 loss against Ottawa. So none of the Rangers games have been close recently. And obviously the previous game between these teams is 7-4 win for the Rangers. I do think we'll get a motivated Boston Bruins team. But this game is just really tough. It's really tough here. I don't have anything. Looking at player props, though, Mika Zibanejad has a point in 11 of his last 12 games. He's been on fire for the Rangers. Adam Fox, a point in 6 of his last 7. And Artemi Panarin has a point in 8 of his last 10 games. For Boston, I didn't really find anyone that's doing all that well. David Pastrnak continues to shoot the puck. He has at least 4 shots in goal in 8 of his last 10 games. So that is who I'd look at for Boston, maybe doing some kind of shots on goal prop, but this one's tough. This one's tough for me. When you say a point, did you mean an assist or goal? So point means either or. It can get an assist or a goal. So it would be listed as point on your book. Obviously, a lot of point props are, you can't bet them singly. You have to parlay them with something. But I do have some point props coming up, which are plus money. So we'll get to them here in a bit. I started watching other handicappers and they suck. Never leave us, Terry. Thanks, Owen. Thanks. Hi, says Kevin. Hello. Leafs Revenge versus Dubas. Yes. I think that game goes to overtime, and then we'll see what happens. Boston tired, left it out there last game, tying it late. Yeah, that's something to look at as well. Greeky. Boston equals geeky. Okay, so people like geeky here today. Thumbs up. I haven't really looked at him lately, but I can quickly if we want. Since we have a little time here, I'll quickly look at Geeky and let everyone know how he's been doing lately. Dun, 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 dun. 1 second here. Yeah, he's a point in 3 straight games, goals in back-to-back games. So yeah, he's been playing well for Boston recently. We'll move on along to our next game here, which is between the Dallas Stars and the St. Louis Blues. Dallas minus 135 to minus 142. St. Louis plus 115 to plus 124. 6.5s right across the board here in this one. And obviously the big news here, St. Louis second game with their new coach after Berube was fired. We had the whole Kyrou incident where he said that he had no comment because Berube wasn't his coach anymore, which I don't really think he meant as anything negative. I think he just didn't want to talk about it and was focused on the game. Then all the St. Louis fans booed him when he touched the puck, which is just not cool. Not a cool thing to do. He was very emotional about that. It'll be interesting to see how that affects things. And then with Dallas, obviously playing last night, coming back to win their game last night, but they lost Jake Ottinger, which is huge for this Dallas team. Um, Obviously, they have Wedgwood, who continued to play last night. Will he start in this one? Probably. 6-1-1 in the year. So he has found ways to win games. His numbers, though, um, aren't close to Jake Ottinger's numbers. Bennington will be a net for St. Louis. 9-9-1, 3.05 goals against average, 909 save percentage. Very similar numbers overall to what Wedgwood is doing. We'll have to see if it's Wedgwood or if I'm blanking on his name too. They call up the kid from the AHL. Um, Blanking on his name, but he's a goaltender that has the same name as somebody else, but I can't remember it right now. But centering top line with Pasta. Yes, okay, that's a good reason to look. That's why he's been doing well, Geeky, his last few games, because when you play with Pasternak, it's gonna be hard to not do well. But for me here in this game, no single plays. Um, I I can't lay minus 135 with Dallas, minus 140. Minus 135 is my cutoff for new viewers of the show. I don't bet anything past minus 135, so minus 140 wouldn't be a play for me. It would have to be Dallas in regulation, but Dallas just came back last night in a big 5-4 win. Now they have to head to St. Louis. St. Louis off the coaching change. Just don't want to back St. Louis either. So this game is no single plays for me here in this one. Loss of Oninger is huge for us bettors. He's been helping the overs hit. Yeah, maybe recently, but yeah. I like Dallas St. Louis goal in first 10 minutes and the first period over. So Addison likes goals early. I could see that. I could see that. Um, this game just not one that really interests me too much. But looking at player props here in this one, players who've been playing well recently. For St. Louis, nobody really stood out. Robert Thomas has been playing well overall. For the Stars, it's that top line: Pavelski, Robertson, and Hintz. All have points in 3 of their last 4 games, so they've all been playing well. Um, recently, they did have some cold stretches there, but the Dallas Stars had cold stretches there, scoring for a bit. But their top line has been playing really well recently, so that's who I'd look at. But overall, this game probably one going to stay away from. Moving on to our next game, Washington Capitals against the Nashville Predators. Washington plus 110 to plus 119. Nashville minus 123 at one spot, but most spots minus 130 to minus 140. Sixes and 6.5s available here in this one. And as I said earlier on in the show, I was on Nashville yesterday in their comeback win against the Hurricanes. Now they're facing this Washington team. Lindgren unconfirmed for Washington, 6-2-2, 2.39 goals against average, 929 save percentage. So he's played really well for Washington this year. UC Saros also unconfirmed, 13-10-0, 2.79 goals against average, 910 save percentage. So still pretty decent numbers for Saros as well. And Nashville's playing really well right now. They are a team that I want to back for the most part. But on the second night of a back-to-back, after a big comeback win against a team that's rested, is just not something I want to do here. Capitals overtime or shootout loss to Philadelphia, wins against Chicago and the Rangers, shootout loss to Dallas, back-to-back overtime games for the Predators. So maybe a draw here, maybe a little sprinkle on the draw in this one as well. We could see overtime here, but the Predators will be really tired if they have overtime here after last night. But we'll see what happens here. Miro Heiskanen has been hot. Yeah, He had a rough start to the year, but yeah, I guess he's been doing better recently. TJ Oshie or Tom Wilson to earn a point. And I do have Tom Wilson here. He's a point in 5 of his last 7 games for Washington. So that is a player I'd be looking at for Washington parlays. For the Predators, Philip Forsberg has a point in 6 of his last 7 games. Back-to-back games with a overtime winner. So he's been scoring overtime winners for the Preds. And then Roman Josi has a point in 5 of his last 6 games for the Predators. He's also been playing really well for the Preds. So those are the players I'd be looking at here in this one. Heading to our next game between two teams that are all on a back-to-back. Like I said, we have a lot of teams on back-to-backs today. Buffalo Sabres, Arizona Coyotes. Buffalo plus 100 to minus 110. Arizona minus 107 to minus 120. 6.5s right across the board here in this one. And as Real Deal Prime mentioned earlier on in the comments, Buffalo yesterday off a big win against the Vegas Golden Knights. As I mentioned, Buffalo has not won back-to-back games since November 1st. So it's been a while since the Sabres team has strung wins together. Looking at Arizona, 1-0 win against San Jose yesterday. So a very low-scoring game there. Connor Ingram played really well. The Coyotes got 2 goals overturned from San Jose, breaking their 4-game losing streak. Of course, they had a 5-game winning streak before that. One of their losses was to this Buffalo Sabres team in Buffalo, 5-2 loss. Vejmelka, I'm not sure if he played the whole game or what there, but he's listed here as playing in that game. And that's who should be a net here again for this one. Obviously, with Ingram playing last night. So this is another game. Vejmelka is actually confirmed, yes. So 2-7-2, 3.5 goals against average, 892 save percentage. He's not looked like the Vejmelka from last year. This is another one where I don't have any single plays. I lean with the Coyotes because of the Sabres' inability to win back-to-back games, but I don't want to back Vejmelka with how he's played. We just saw what the Sabres did to him not too long ago in Buffalo. So this game here is a complete pass. I can see either team winning this game. The Sabres will be motivated to win back-to-back games because, as I said, it's been a long time for them. Looking at the Sabres, Rasmus Dahlin has a point in 4 of his last 5 games, so he's been playing pretty well. For the Coyotes, Matias Maccelli, he's got a point in 6 of his last 7 games and at least 3 shots on goal in 8 of his last 9. So Matias Maccelli has been quietly continuing. He had a great year last year for the Yotes, and he's continuing this year for the Arizona Coyotes. So he's a player I'd look at for player props. Minus 130 for him to get a point. So not a play for me. It would have to be a parlay piece. Vejmelka scares me. Exactly. Which is just why I can't really get to anything here. Larson or Carconi, anytime goal. Yes, both have been really hot recently when it comes to goal scoring. Neither scored yesterday. Carconi's been slowing down a little bit. So maybe Lawson Krause, but this game is a game I'm kind of passing on. I do have plays coming up, so don't worry. I do have plays coming up, but going to our next game in a 13-game slate, I'm not obviously back-to-back winning days. I'm not forcing out any plays, so there will be games I just don't have plays in. On a 13-game slate, that's going to happen. LA Kings minus 146 to minus 162. Seattle Kraken plus 125 to plus 136. Sixes, there are 5.5s available as well in this game. Don't expect any goaltenders. Talbot unconfirmed. Joey Decord unconfirmed. Obviously, Talbot 12, 5 and 2, 2.02 goals against average, 920 save percentage. He's played fantastic for the LA Kings um, pretty much all year long. This Kings team has played really well on the road this year, 11, 1 and 1 on the road. Um, Coming off a 5-2 loss at home against Winnipeg, 4-1 loss the game before in New York, and a 3-2 loss in overtime to the other New York team, the Islanders. So the Kings off 3 losses in a row. I'll be looking to get a win here. Seattle broke their losing streak with a 4-0 shutout win against Florida and a 7-1 win against Chicago in their last game. The win against Florida is impressive. Um, beating Chicago is not really that impressive, but 7-1 is an impressive score. So something to keep in mind. Seattle playing well recently. Kings on a 3-game losing streak. I think this is a Kings spot, but I'd have to go with Kings in regulation or Kings on the puck line, and neither really interest me here. I do think the Kings are the right side, but no play. Kopitar and Kempe both have a point in 5 of their last 6 games for the LA Kings. They are 2 players I would look at for the Kings. But this game, again, another pass. So I like the earlier part of the slate more. Buffalo is so inconsistent, and without Sean Durzi and Schmaltz not 100%, this could be Buffalo first 2 in a row. Yeah, since November 1st, they haven't won 2 in a row. It could happen today, and that's why I have no play. I know this is a hockey show, but do you think the Vikings get it done today? Ah, honestly, if I'm looking at, I would go Vikings plus 3.5 in that game, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to expect. I won't be surprised if the Vikings win a close game or lose by a field goal, but I wouldn't be surprised if Cincinnati wins big either. Um, I don't know what to expect, so no real plays in that one. I want to see how Justin Jefferson does. Obviously, getting injured in the last game, and he's supposed to be playing today, so we'll see how he does. Some people joining on the Twitter. It tells me, I guess, when people watch on the Twitter, so that's interesting. Kings money line says Owen. I could see that. I could see that. This is where the Kraken fall back down to earth. Kings puck line -1.5 plus 180. I could totally see it happening. I could. I could totally see it happening. Um, just not one of my plays. Tarasov confirmed for Columbus. Interesting. Interesting. But we'll go on along to the next game. A game I have 3 plays in. So 3 plays in this one. Don't worry, I do have plays at the end of the slate. Tampa Bay Lightning against the Calgary Flames. Tampa Bay -104 to -110. Calgary -106 to -110. 6.5s right across the board here in this game. And here in this one, the Flames continue to struggle. Um, Getting it to a shootout against Minnesota, but obviously losing that game. Overtime loss to Vegas the game before. But the Flames have won 1 of their last 7 games, a 3-2 win against Carolina. They've got 2 losses against Minnesota, a loss to New Jersey, a loss to Vegas, a loss to Colorado, a loss to Vancouver. So Calgary's had a bit of a tough schedule recently. Obviously, losing Markstrom, Vladar's lost 3 games since then. Wolf is 1-1, lost 2. Overall, the Flames just not playing all that well. And this Tampa Bay Lightning team, 6-9-2 on the road. They've struggled overall on the road, 4-2 in their last 6 games. A loss to Vancouver, a loss to Nashville, but a big win, a 7-4 win against the Oilers in their last game, um, ending the red hot Oilers winning streak. So that was a big win for Tampa Bay. They've had a day off in between, so not a back to back, which is good news for them. And I like them here. I like the Lightning, but I like two props for Calgary. So I'm playing this game both ways. If you look at it, minus 104 for the Lightning to win the game. But when it comes to player props, Igor Sharangovich plus 105 to get a point for Calgary on the top line. He has a point in 6 of his last 7 games. He has a goal in 4 straight. So if you want the big plus money, you can take him to get a goal, or you can just take the smaller plus money and take him to get a point, which is a goal or an assist for new people, new hockey bettors. A point is a goal or an assist. Easier to get than the goal prop because a lot of goals have 2 assists, so it's easier to get assists than goals for the most part. And Connor Zary for the Flames as well. He's a point in 5 of his last 6 games. So an impressive rookie for the Flames, and he's plus 110 to get a point. So I do believe this will be a higher scoring game. So I'll take both Flames players to get a point, and then I'll take the Lightning to find a way to win the game when it's all said and done in this one. Does FanDuel got regulation? I don't see anymore. I remember it used to say 60 minutes. Yes, they do. FanDuel does have it still. I believe it still says in 60 minutes. Let me go here. Yeah, scroll down. There's the goal scorers, player to score 2 goals, player to score 3 goals, and then it says 60-minute money line 3-way. And then obviously the tie. So 60-minute money line 3-way. That's what you take. Those 2 Calgary players have been slaying anytime goals as well. Nice picks. Yeah, and that's what I said. You can definitely go for the big plus money with the goals. And I wouldn't talk anybody off that. But for me, getting plus money for a point, I have to go with it. Thanks. And as Tommy says, yeah, it says 60 minutes. So all good, all good. But they've got the best prices on draws. So if you have access to FanDuel, that is the book you want to place draw bets in. Looking at goaltenders in this one, obviously none of these later games have confirmed goalies. Vladar unconfirmed for Calgary. He's been awful, allowing at least 3 goals every game, I think, except the one game there. He played somewhat decently. Vasilevsky, 5-4 in the year, 2.88 goals against average, 902 save percentage. A big reason why the Lightning beat the Oilers in their last game. And looking at Tampa Bay props, nobody really stands out all that well. If you have access to same game parlays, Nikita Kucherov has a point in 13 of his last 15, and he has at least 3 shots on goal in 21 of his last 22 games. So I would look at parlaying Kucherov point with his shots on goal prop for at least 3, or parlaying 3+ shots on goal with something else. But that's how I'd look at it. No single plays for the Lightning player props, just for Calgary. Going on to the final game of the night, which is between the Florida Panthers and the Edmonton Oilers. Florida plus 120 to plus 123. Edmonton minus 130 to minus 145. 6.5s and 7s available here in this game. And this one, another game where I just don't have any single plays here. Florida's got shut out in back-to-back games, losing 4-0 in back-to-back games. So I'm not sure what's happened to the Florida offense right now, but I expect a motivated Florida team here in this one. The Oilers have been not a team you want to step in front of. Obviously, they had their win streak broken, but 6-1 win, 4-3 win, 4-1 win, 4-1 win. They've been winning games convincingly. This Florida Panthers team, 8-6-2 on the road overall. But as I said, back-to-back 4-0 losses against Vancouver and Seattle. This one is just tough. It's just tough for me. I would lean with the Oilers, but minus 140 to minus 145 in most spots, I would have to go with the Oilers in regulation, which could potentially be a play, potentially the team total over. When it comes to player props for this game, nobody really for Florida. As I said, they got shut out in back-to-back games, so I don't exactly know who's going to step up. Will it be Reinhart and Barkov? That would be um, my thoughts if I was going to take someone for Florida. But for Edmonton, Evan Bouchard has a point in 13 straight games for the Oilers. He has an assist in 10 of those 13. So Bouchard has been a big offensive piece for the Oilers. Zach Hyman, he has a point in 8 of his last 9 games, and he has at least 3 shots on goal in 11 straight games. So Zach Hyman has been a huge piece to the offense as well for the Oilers. And then Ryan Nugent-Hopkins has a point in 5 straight games. And you might be saying, well, why aren't you mentioning McDavid and Draisaitl? Because McDavid and Draisaitl props for them to get a point is like minus 750, I think, for McDavid to get a point on most nights. So there's just no value with McDavid. So that's why I don't even really look at McDavid or Draisaitl. I look at the other players that you can get a little bit better value for when it comes to player props. But that's today's slate. Thank you everyone for watching. Yeah, not sure about tomorrow. If there will be a show, when there'll be a show. Hit the notifications on the YouTube channel when you hit the like and subscribe, and you'll get notified when I go live. Because on weekends, I think it might be just anytime thing. So depending on when I get the show done. Sundays, usually there isn't a show, so we'll see if I do one tomorrow. If not, we'll be back Monday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Enjoy a nice night of hockey. I know there's NFL today. I know there's college football playoffs, but we also have the NHL. So thank you, everyone, for watching, and we'll see you on the next show. Best of luck, guys.